Hey guys, welcome back to the Cool Classic Kid Show, and unfortunately, I have to talk about something that is concerning to me in regards to the state of the games industry. And well, it makes me have to talk about probably one of my greatest video game disappointments, and that would be this right here. First off, this right here, Cyberpunk 2077, and mind you, I actually bought the collector's edition of the game, which was actually, in the grand scheme of things, it's a pretty dope collector's edition. I enjoy this collector's edition. It's pretty nice. It does sit on my shelf despite this game being a massive disappointment to me. But really, this collector's edition statue not just it is there for visual purposes, but also the reality that, well, this is a reminder of what happens when you get overhyped and you buy into a product and shit goes south. You're told one thing, that it's gonna be amazing, that with Cyberpunk it was gonna be this awesome RPG on the level with, freaking The Witcher 3, and then all the RPG elements that, really give that intricacy of an RPG, that has action elements. Yeah, all those RPG elements were stripped away to make it an action game with basic RPG elements. This serves as a reminder that, we need to really call out nonsense when it occurs. And I thought that with the release of Cyberpunk, that the industry as well as the gamers would learn a very valuable lesson to stop endorsing, to stop releasing broken games. But I feel as though, a couple of years later, that the release of Cyberpunk has indeed taught the industry something, that they can indeed release a broken piece of shit, buggy, garbage ass game and still make all the money, make all the sales, and it has made the industry see that who cares? Who cares if we release a broken pile of dog shit product? And it is made, and gamers are becoming desensitized to these poor releases. Just, hey, fuck it. Who cares if it's broken? We'll even cap for it if it's broken. We're gonna buy it anyway. We're gonna spend more money than ever before on these releases. This is why I was adherently against to the $70 price hike of games. Not because, well, these developers don't deserve it, or inflation and all that. It's like I look at the industry and recognize that this $10 price increase is not going to make the developers honest. It's not going to make the publishers honest. It's not going to improve the games in any way, shape, or form. If anything, they charge more money and the games are more broken and garbage than ever before. It's a shame. And people still co-sign the $70 price hike despite broken games releasing, content withheld from the base game that really leaves the game incomplete in a lot of scenarios, the microtransactions, the loot boxes, all this stuff. And people decided, hey man, well, you're a cheap fuck if you don't want to pay that extra $10. I don't have that problem, fucking ball gargling all these companies and giving them the extra money. Support the developers, even though the mass majority of the developers don't see any increase at all in regards to money, in regards to being treated better. There's nothing of the sort with this $10 price increase for games. I mean, we have broken release after broken release. I mean, I've featured a lot of this stuff on my channel. I've dumped on a lot of these games on my channel, such as Saints Row, Forspoken. I mean, now we have, stuff we could throw on the list. Callisto Protocol, Elden Ring, your beloved Elden Ring, that, while it is a good game for what it is, when it released, people were forced to play the last gen version of the game to get a steady frame rate. And then people on PC were absolutely struggling to run the game because the game was unoptimized. I mean, you have The Last of Us PC, which Sony themselves used basically the same tactic as CD Projekt Red with withholding review codes for the broken game. And pretty much just staying silent and launching the game to plenty of gamers, the most broken pile of dog shit possible. I mean, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet was a performance disaster on the Switch. So even Nintendo is not to be depended on in regards to releasing a good game day one. You know, Redfall is going to possibly end up being messed up as well. I mean, we already have the 30 FPS on the Series X and S consoles until, you know, the game is actually optimized. So I don't care if the game comes out running well at 30 FPS. It's still unoptimized because it should be running at 60 FPS, especially since it is a first-person shooter. And with the latest release that people are capping like a motherfucker for, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Absolutely terrible, man. Like, there's blame to be handed out all around, from the gamers to the developers to the publishers. There's blame all around because, well, the gamers, we turn a blind eye to our game of choice, or from, you know, whatever, just because it's a part of a franchise that's beloved. And it's like, I named all those games, and there's like I can't double the amount of good releases that I've seen that are, you know, relatively high on the radar. I can name a couple of good releases, you know, like a handful. I've named more than 5 just now. But we have Resident Evil 4 Remake that had a solid release. Dead Island 2, a game that was in development hell, being Dead Island 2, actually came out in a reasonably good state. Far better than the mass majority of releases so far this year. Hi-Fi Rush came out. Stealth Drop worked awesome, no problems. I played the PC port, solid port. And then Hogwarts Legacy, which came out damn good day one. But like, you know, those are the 4 that I can think of off the top of my head, sadly. And, you know, it's one of those things, guys, where we have learned nothing from Cyberpunk 2077. Not the gamers, not the publishers, not the developers. We have learned nothing, despite it being one of the most controversial discussions, controversial releases of the past 5 years. And guys, this makes me have to bring up Star Wars Jedi Survivor because, well, you know, EA came out with their absolutely garbage response to the game being broken in launch day one on PC, and they did not even acknowledge that even the console port, the console version of Jedi Survivor is absolutely unacceptable as well. They want to pretend that everything is cool, everything is great with the console version when it's not. And we also have the gamers themselves capping for the game because it's your precious Star Wars. You have all those Star Wars weirdos in modern day that ball gargle anything Disney releases. And given, you know, Jedi Fallen Order was the best thing Star Wars in years since the Disney acquisition of the Star Wars franchise, to be completely fair. But even that game came out absolutely messy. And so did, you know, Jedi Survivor. They have learned nothing, guys. And, you know, let's just bring up the proof that the game is broken everywhere. You know, while the, you know, your experience may vary, and there may be, you know, from what I've seen, the PS5 version tends to be a bit better than the others. It's still an unacceptable release. And we have, you know, shout out to Legacy Killer HD, said it's not just performance issues, seems to be various reports of a couple of different major game-breaking bugs in Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I was fortunate a reload fixed my issue. For others, seems to be they have to wait and hope for a patch soon. Imagine that shit, spending, you know, 10 plus hours on your playthrough to run into a game-breaking bug and can only hope that a future patch will fix your game. But yeah, we have here Screen Rant, Star Wars Jedi Survivor has serious game-breaking bugs you will want to avoid. So, you know, sites are acknowledging it. Gamers themselves are coming across it. Tyler here says, I've encountered a game-breaking bug that soft locks you out of the main campaign in Jedi Survivor. Last updraft won't work for research Tandalore. Reloading, quitting, and closing the game doesn't fix it. Can't progress, effectively stuck 10 plus hours later. Next, we have over here, encountered a game-breaking bug in Jedi Survivor PS5. The character dialogue audio has stopped working almost entirely on Judea. A restart and complete reinstall hasn't fixed it. Worried this save file is corrupt. So your precious PS5 version isn't running very well either. At least for some people, they are encountering these game-breaking bugs as well. So stop the bullshit with, oh, but the PS5 version works just fine. I watched my friends play, and given, the frame rate seems to be consistent in some areas, in some other areas, it's not consistent. When you make, jumps and stuff, I've seen the frame rate drops. My buddy, shout out to Slade 4K, Anarchy 4K, Livewire 4K now. Homie said, can't decide if the quality version of the performance version is the best performance option, which was a problem with Jedi Fallen Order as well, mind you. So, same problems, new generation, absolute garbage from EA/Respawn in regards to getting the game out in working order at launch. And then another one here. Game-breaking bug stuck in Chamber of Duality with no exit. Already seen the cutscene that opens this door. 5, almost 6 hours late, into it. And then shout out to the homie Slow-Mo right here who keeps it 100. Slow-Mo backslap says, it runs better on consoles. What the console Kremlins are saying? It runs great on the consoles. And it's like, okay, and he says, okay, sure, it runs terribly on all platforms, and some of y'all just can't tell. Yeah, some people are just so fucking blind to it. But yeah, look at this shit, yo. At 45 FPS. I don't know if I could zoom in more. Nah, it won't. All right, that's a little bit bigger. But yeah, we're looking at below 45 FPS consistently here. Garbage, bro. And this is during a boss fight, the Ninth Sister boss fight. Unfucking acceptable. 37 FPS, and this is on performance mode. Yeah, optimize, huh, motherfucker. And then we have Good Game Kofi here. It says, if this is the definitive version y'all claiming, I'm all right. Star Wars Jedi Survivor PS5, stunning visuals, compelling gameplay. But what about perfect? Definitely not perfect. It seems as though the resolution mode, yeah, not so good on the resolution. We're looking at a variable here that goes below 1080p in some instances. Resolution mode, right? And then we have the performance mode that is like fucking Switch levels of visuals, man, of resolution. Disgusting. Just a little bit above the handheld version, the handheld Switch screen resolution. Yeah. Optimized on PS5, right? Definitive version on PS5. The definitive version seems like a pile of dog shit. And then we have the crashing on the PS5. Shout out to Blaze 4K, who I believe is playing it on PC. He's also experiencing crashes. Last time I checked with him, homeboy crashed like 4 times. So yeah, crashing on the consoles as well as PC. But yeah, there's clearly a version of this game that runs perfectly fine, right? And then, yes, just more performance mode failure. 45 FPS, disgusting. Disgusting. But man, people will fucking cap for the game. And it's tiresome, guys. It's tiresome that we're here. And this has become the norm. They want to establish a norm that every game is going to be released whenever these publishers feel like it. It doesn't matter if the game is finished or not. It doesn't matter if the game is in working order or not. It doesn't matter if the game is properly tested to make sure that there's no game-breaking glitches involved or not. They don't care. They don't care about you. They want to normalize this reality so that they can do whatever they want. And you console Kremlins, even some PC players, will just gargle everything that comes your way. Just be blind consumers. And look, I'm not saying this to everyone out there. There's some people that actually, do remain consistent and not pre-ordering, actually rewarding good behavior. I mean, we're not all perfect, but and even sometimes we'll crack and purchase a game. And look, man, we're human. But to actually defend a broken game in this state of the industry, of the games industry, is absolutely ridiculous. There's no other form of entertainment where this is acceptable, or no other form of consumerism where this is acceptable. Guess what? If you buy music, if you buy an album, and if the actual audio sounds distorted, then guess what? It is deemed as defective and it would be returned because it's defective. The same thing with film. If you buy a movie and there's multiple scenes where it's absolutely super pixelated, can't see, it clearly is deemed defective. Only in gaming and entertainment where we have broken games that are not deemed as defective, oh, a patch will fix that. It's not acceptable, guys. It is garbage. It is sad that there are more games that come out completely fucked up than there are games that come out running pretty well. Minor bugs here and there, but overall, good performance. Actually went through all the stages of game development and completed the final stage of game development, which is optimization and squashing bugs, and developers actually trying to explain it. Oh man, like, it's hard. It's hard, especially for PC, to optimize the game because there's all these different variables. It's your job. It is your job. I don't care how hard it is. You have to do this. It's not something you can make excuses for. I understand that you guys work hard, especially though, the final push before the game launch. I understand that. But if you did not manage to make sure that the game itself is capable of being played on different forms of hardware, then I'm sorry, but you guys fell short. And look, if you fall short, I understand it's not your decision. It's your publisher's decision on whether to launch the game or not. I get that. But if you didn't, do a reasonably decent job of optimizing the game, especially for PC, and it's clearly not, Jedi Survivor is clearly not optimized on anything really, but if you didn't do it, don't freaking try to put out a guilt trip explanation on, man, it's so hard. It's harder than you think. You clearly just simply fell short. Just accept it. Don't make excuses, and gamers, stop making excuses for this shit. It's disgusting that people are capping in the comment section of my Jedi Survivor videos for this broken game, and then trying to make the console versus PC gamer nonsense out of it is fucked up on all platforms, guys, in some way, shape, or form, some worse than others. But can we just stop the nonsense, man? Overall, I just want an industry where it would be worth it to pay the $70 for the game. I don't mind. I think there's some games that are actually worth the $70 price point, but the reality is the state of the industry is full of absolutely disrespectful garbage behavior. They feel entitled to your money, even if they drop a broken ass piece of shit product. And that is the problem. That is why I was completely wholeheartedly against the $70 price increase, because, well, we're seeing why every month, pretty much every single month. But yeah, guys, I think I got my point across overall. If you can, let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. If you can, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me over on Twitch, Twitter, or Kick if you want to continue the conversation. Consider becoming a channel member if you'd like instant access to the Discord. Look, guys, can we just at least stop lying about games when they release broken? That's a start. That's a start. That's all I'm asking, man. Just accept it, that it's broken and that it's unacceptable. That's a start. Baby steps, man. I understand that people just want to play games and have fun. I get it on that front. But to sit on Twitter and lie through your fucking teeth, nah, it's not cool, man. But yeah, guys, with that being said, I'm out. Peace.